Peace and greetings. Welcome back to another 31 Days of Tarot. This is day 10. The decks that I plan on using more in 2019. So, I spent a little bit of time yesterday trying to figure this out. And one deck that I received for Christmas is the Orbifold Tarot. This deck is simply gorgeous. It's so like the quartz is like the Queen of Wands. All the queens are water of said element. So this works for how my brain typically even looks at the Rider-Waite-Smith version. The geomantic patterns are very beautiful. The colors that are used to express the energies are just so lovely. But because I recently received it, I definitely want to dedicate some time this year towards using it. So the Orbifold Tarot. The next deck that I would like to work, the next deck I would like to use more in 2019 is the Zilla Tarot. This is a Thoth-based deck. The Orbifold is more of a Marseille-based deck. So these are the backs. And I just didn't end up using this deck as much as I thought I was going to this year. So I want to give it a shot. I did get some really good readings from it when I did use it. So I just want to continue on that process and see how deep I can go with it. Really this year what my plans are to pick 2 decks that I haven't used and use those 2 decks exclusively for a month. If I'm feeling one more than the other, you know, it may weigh off a little bit differently, but I think it's a good handoff that I can switch up between 2 decks per month and really just give them some focus and downtime. So that's the Zillage. Another deck that I want to dig in deep more with is the Hanzel Tarot. And I've had this deck for a while, but I just haven't spent as much time with it as I would like. And so I really want to give this one a shot this year and just kind of build my relationship a little bit more with it. It reminds me a lot of my Quest Tarot in a way. I'm not sure how to explain why it reminds me of that deck, but I really like that deck. So I feel like sinking my teeth into this one is gonna be good for me. Like I said, I've had some really good readings with it. I just haven't dedicated as much time to it as I'd like, and it is very meditative and mystical and all of that jazz. It is also Thoth based. So the Hanzel Tarot. Another deck that I want to use, which you'll see me using throughout this series, I don't have it upstairs because I was recording in the other room, is the Moonchild Tarot. You won't see it in this video, but you'll see it throughout other videos in this series. Okay. Another deck that I want to use this year is the Tarot of the Spirit. I picked this up in 2018. Haven't really had a chance to work with it as much as I would like to either, to see how I jive with it, how it works for me. It is Thoth based, but some of these keywords on the bottom here, oh, these are like all the majors, what's going on, are a little bit different. For example, the aces don't typically have a keyword. So I'm curious whether or not this deck would read more oracle-y or more tarot-y. Those are not even words. But overall, I mean, I really like the images and the colors that are used. It kind of, between this one and the Zilla, I almost feel like it's duplicate, but I know that there's a really good guidebook that came with this that I want to sink my teeth into, and I think that's going to help me build a little bit closer bond with this deck. So this is the Tarot of the Spirit. That's the backs of them. Another deck that I want to spend more time with is the Healing Light Tarot. I've had this one for a while and I've used it, but again, didn't get used as much as I wanted to, and I really like this deck. These are the backs. And I think this is, it has a similar thing going on to the Spirit Within Tarot, but I already have this one, so that's why I didn't get the Spirit Within Tarot. But I really love this. It's easy to read with. It gets my imagination going. It is Rider-Waite Smith based. And I mean, look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? Like, oh, the only thing that would make this deck even better is if it was matte finish. It's a little bit glossy, but you know, I can work around that. Although I do really, really love the images in this deck here. And I've, like I said, I've used it. I just want to dedicate more time to it. Since I've had it, it is just lovely. Okay, so that is the Healing Light Tarot. All right, so that is 6 decks. The next deck that I want to work with more is the Lunatic Tarot, and I've had this one for a while. Again, haven't spent as much time with it as I'd like. These are the backs. And it's just this anime style with these brown sepia tones, and it kind of strays from any system. I think perhaps it is more Rider-Waite Smith based, but it is more of a, I feel like, a creative or artistic deck, and I just want to see if it's practical for reading purposes. I've used this for some creative writing, storytelling type projects, but I want to try this with regular readings and how I jive with it. So I want to spend some time with this one. I think the illustrations are beautiful. The world is a little it's almost like a dream world for me, or something of that sort. And then there's some interesting dynamics that are portrayed on some of these cards, but again, I just want to really give this one a go and see how I jive with it. Love that full card. So that is the Lunatic Tarot. The next deck that I want to use this year, let's see where I'm at, that I want to use more of this year is the Tarot Antique Anatomy Tarot Ephemera Edition. I use this some. I didn't use, I got so many decks at once. It was just hard to keep up, like I said. But I want to use this one a little bit more. I've been liking it, so I would like to continue dedicating some energy to it to build my relationship with it and see. It is a pip style deck. It's not really TDM based either. It's kind of its own thing, but I think it's very beautiful. Are these in order? I think they are. Kind of. But yeah, I think this is beautiful, and of course it pairs wonderful with the Oracle of Oddities. And if you guys can tell by now, I'm kind of love Oracle of Oddities, so it's well worth my time and patience to get to know this deck, just because it is aesthetically pleasing to the eye to pair with that deck. So that's what's going on here. Antique Anatomy Ephemera Edition. And while I did use it in 2018, I think I still may want to dedicate time to it, but this one is more so available for me to use, but it may not remain in the forefront. So that's what, number 8. I was trying to get this pair down to about 12 decks. Or, I'm sorry, not 12 decks, but like 24. That was what, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, so I have 14. You know, there's 12 months. So really rotating between these plus my core decks, the Rider-Waite-Smith, the Morgan Greer, Tableau Mundi, Thoth, and my Dodal. These would all be accents as focus, you know, according to how I feel. So the next one, the Wild Unknown. I know I talked about this deck in a video last year about a deck that I own but I don't use, and I kept it. I didn't give it away because I felt like it just wasn't our time yet. Guess what? This time around, it's saying we got some building to do and some growing and learning together. So I do have the Animal Spirit, Wisdom Spirit, the companion deck to this, the Oracle. So I will be using those in conjunction with each other. But the Wild Unknown, sorry about the noises outside, there's all kinds of things going on. Very beautiful deck, and I look forward to starting a relationship of some sort with this deck here. Working relationship, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm trying to say. So yeah, so the Wild Unknown. So these are all kind of decks you can look forward to seeing being used on my channel for 2019. This is a general rough idea of the decks that I want to reach for more. So the next deck that I want to use more is the Spanish Tarot. This is a Tarot de Marseille based deck. The card stock is fantastic. The size is perfect. Like it's just a really nice size deck, and I like the colors. They're different. The colors are different. Palette from traditional Tarot de Marseille decks. I also like this deck because it's already weighted. So when we get to a pip card, I'll show you what I mean. So here we have the Roman numerals on the side, and then we have Roman numeral on the bottom. If this were to get pulled like this, I would know it's in reverse because that's on top. So all the minors have that. And another thing I want to begin implementing is reversals this year. So this deck, I think, without me having to write on it or anything like that, is a good you know, deck for me to work that with. So yeah, the Spanish Tarot, it's so good. I don't know, I fell way harder for this deck than I expected to. I've used it a few times, and I would just like to dedicate more time to it, as with most of these decks that I've had already in my collection. The next deck is the Pierre Matinee Tarot, 1709. This is another Tarot de Marseille deck. This was a gift I received in 2018, and I've been dying to use it and haven't used it yet. So I haven't even done an interview, anything. I just shuffled it a few times just to get a feel for it. But this is the Pleasant Face deck. Of course, none of the face cards are going to come out now. I love the antique kind of colorations on the pips here. It's just gorgeous. All right, can I get a face card? Thank you. The Pleasant Face. She's not the most pleasant looking queen here, but they all, for the most part, if you compare it to like my doll, maybe I'll do a comparison so we could compare faces of Tarot de Marseille decks. They look very pleased. They look very relaxed and zen, compared to a lot of other TDM decks. Yeah, like even the Hierophant, the World. The cardstock on this is good. This is what version is Yves Renaud. Very, very beautiful deck. So like I want to get to play with this one more in 2019. The box is nice too. Two more. This one kind of falls in line with the Antique Anatomy, being that I used it, I want to keep using it. This is the Flammand Vanden Borre. It's another TDM style deck. I love the colors. I love the figures. I think they're so freaking cute. And also the I don't know, the cardstock, the colors, everything. It just really hits my like creative centers and my intuition and all of that kind of stuff there. So look at how beautiful that is. Look at that. So yeah, so this one I want to build again, spend more time with and all that kind of stuff. So that is my Flammand Vanden Borre. And last but not least, my Zilla Tarot. This tarot deck I've been wanting to use and dedicate time to since I got it, but you know, last year was a thoth year. This is I'll talk more about this deck in a separate video, but I just think it's beautiful. It's different. And I don't see a lot of people using it. So, you know, I'm trying to figure out, hey, can this be a soul deck for me? Can this really work intuitively? How will I read with it? I've done a few kind of random for fun kind of readings with it, but I want to give it a shot more professionally. And what have you. I think the illustrations are gorgeous. I think there's a lot going on in this deck, but again, I really love the colors. I love the illustration. I love the cardstock, like love the cardstock. It's Il Mangello, so you can't go wrong. It just gets more and more buttery with use. And I picked this deck up just to shuffle it, and I'm like, I need to be using this deck. I need this in my life. So I've shown you all the decks that I want to spend more time with in 2019 that I currently have in my collection. I've set it up so I'm not distracted and I can stay focused, and I'll intuitively pick as the months come. So in January I will be using the Vachetta and the Moonchild, and I will switch on and off between the two for the month, and if I'm really digging them, they may fall into a second month, who knows. But I have these decks all in a pile and I'm ready to go. So thank you so much for watching. I look forward to watching your focus decks of the year, and I will talk to you later. Much love, many blessings, peace.